Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Took a little trade in pre-market here. Had a lot of break evens as well, but put me in the red for the day, about 150 bucks. So, and I could have taken a lot of profit just break even, but I wanted to give the market a chance. But it kept pooching down and just formed a little range at the bottom and couldn't get a nice big reversal like before. So that's the overnight range. And Monday has been very choppy because market just needs to decide where it wants to go. So trying to be a little bit patient here with this funded account. Um, Almost a 120 point range on the overnight range. So let's see if volume kicks in. Also looking at a lot of potential on the downside if the price comes back down to 23640. But if we see a nice rebound, then potentially we could try to tap all-time highs at 23960, maybe in a couple of days, maybe in a single day, just like it happened on 12th of August. So we'll see how today plays out. But seeing that it's under the 23820 or 23800 level, and buyers did kind of stepped in and see if they could reclaim this level, but consistently sellers have been coming in heavy just right at this point and trying to drive the price down. So is this an institutional play where they would just make sure they bring the market down a bit and big money is going to come in and push the price higher and trap all those sellers and kind of squeeze them out? Or is it going to be a reverse? That is, they pump the price up so that they could sell into it. And that's what we'll be looking at. All these short, small rallies. Like this was a pretty big, significant one, kind of broke a lot of the levels, but all these little short rallies that we're looking at, the shorts have been coming in pretty significantly heavy, big red candles. So you can record it like once, right? Went up again twice, went up again thrice, went up again fourth time. So this tells me that shorts are consistently coming and fighting over these levels, and a lot of institutions or big orders are selling into these little rallies. Again, we saw a consistent nice little rally, but as soon as it came to that 23960 level, we couldn't break above, and sellers came in pretty hard. And again, today as well, we came back up. Everyone would have thought that we might just keep rallying high and try to tap the 23960 level, but sellers came in hard. So this is the short-term trend that we're looking at currently. Like so. And we'll see if we can break above or break below, but at this moment it's just kind of stuck in this little wedge. And depending on what market does, we'll take our trades accordingly. Trying to follow the process. Going to reduce the stake size, knowing a couple of things, knowing that Monday has been historically choppy. Don't want to get chopped out with a larger position sizing, and I might add or might not add depending on the price action. So I'm going to be looking at securing profits quicker just for today, looking at the data that prices or price actions just a little bit choppy and doesn't respect levels. So let's say if you add a reverse on ya, so it's good to just get some cushion in. Also starting a little red on the day, so it doesn't hurt to size down and see if we can make that up, and then progressively increase the size. So 2 to 3 contracts is going to be the way to go. And then probably if the setup's right, we can add and get about 4 contracts deep. But that's still pretty significant knowing that you can make a good amount of money with just 5 contracts, risking about 250 and making about 500. So that's about risking 30 points or 20 points to make about 60 points, 50 points. That's the ratio. But market doesn't always give you those ratios, so you have to be quick, and that's what I've realized in my strategy. So just trying to take it very slow, putting brakes on a lot of the setups, and the last 16 days I've been testing current market conditions, and I think I got a hang for it at the moment on my strategy. So now it's just execution with patience and waiting for those A plus setups, and that might change. The scenario, the goalpost might shift. All the answers you find today might shift after 2 months, 6 months, 2 weeks. So we just got to execute and keep adapting, and we got to keep do our forward testing. That's why at the point I am today, I can take all those little setups and figure out where price is heading and how I can maneuver my positions accordingly. And that has been very reactive, my trading. So I need to just focus on taking all of that fluff away, because I've got a lot of data, and data is very important to record, to journal, to see where your edge lies and what setups are working, what aren't working. So once you figure all that out and see what's working for you, it's good to stick with the basics and just execute the simplest strategy every day and see if you can grow the account that way and be on your way to getting payouts. So, with all that said, market's opening in about 1 minute, and we'll see how we go. I'm on a 15-minute chart. Righto, market just open. Not a lot of volume. I had a buy up here and I had a feeling that it would just rally up, but you could easily see a big reversal, seeing that this could be a strong resistance, seeing that price couldn't get above the past couple of times. So let's see how today plays out. We are at the 50% of the overnight range. Strong bull candle on the 1 minute. I'll avoid the first 60 seconds. There could be noise. Let the orders settle. Okay, strong move up. See if we can break the wedge above and keep moving. But at the moment, let's just come and draw the low of the first 15 minute, like so. And we'll see where the high ends up. Let's see. All right, getting rejected. Risky trades here. Oh, why do I have 24 contracts set up? That would have really put me in a hairy position. All right, all of that move got shorted hard.
Order filled.
Just going long here, see if we can get a quick scalp. Very risky here, but see if we can get a quick bounce. I'm interested in that quick bounce. I'll be getting out very quickly. This is just playing off of the volume for the day. Small position, about 2 contracts. See if we can get the momentum higher. Could be the worst entry, but looks like bulls are coming in. Still not a lot of volume. So that's what I'm targeting, at least at the top of the range if we break above. But I'll be quick in getting out because this does look a lot very hairy at the moment. I want to see imbalance in the price moving up, but at the moment it's just stuck there, which could tell me that it could just be range bound all day. Here, I'll put my stop right there. Not really interested if it breaks below about 10 points. All right, let's see. Usually don't take a lot of trades at the open, but looking at the data, I missed some moves at the open. Becomes 50-50, but let's see if we push higher for the first 15 minutes on the day, and then I'll play the range breakout. But at the moment, I'm just interested in here. That's my stop break even, a little bit sooner than I would like, but let's see if we can break above. Thinking about it. All right, that's the imbalance. That's where shorts are going to cover because their pain point was just here. Let's see if we can get a little squeeze up there. Nice. Broke above, going for that little squeeze. All right, that's the squeeze.
Order
I'm
filled.
getting out there. About 20, 25 points. Could go higher, but we could see a big reversal, knowing that this was a strong rejection point as we're looking at right now. So that was a good exit. You could get in again back at the 50% range, but that's a good, nice red candle that I don't want to be part of because we've been seeing a lot of these sell-offs. Still doesn't put me red on the green on the day, but that was a quick scalp, just focusing on the price rather than the P&L. Could very well go and hit our profit target, but I'm happy with that, 25 points. I mean, at the first 15 minutes, market just opened. I don't want to get caught in a reversal like so, and that's where a lot of greed will kick in for a lot of buyers, and that's why sellers will come in and capitalize on that greed, and that's the previous rejection point as well. And I didn't see a nice big squeeze up. There was a rejection. So let's see. Let's keep tracking the price. So that's the high of the first 15 minute that we printed as of now. It needs to break the wedge above, which tells me there's a lot of resistance, overhead resistance that it needs to clear before we see a strong push. So this is an interesting place to buy or add positions back to this point. But smart buyers would come in back to the 50% of that overnight range like so. That's what I was a little apprehensive about. All right, see if we can come down a bit more and pooch all the buyers who got in there for the breakout. They will panic here and they will sell. Their stop loss will be somewhere around here as well. There you go. That's the push down right at our entry before. Not a bad place to
Order
just get
filled.
in long in here again and see if we can get a push up. We could very well see and test it at the bottom of the 15-minute range, but there's a lot of support here, so which makes me think that we can either go and test that 50% one more time, and that's where our order is. Let's see. All right, grabbing that liquidity there. All right, it just see if it breaks that. It just broke the support there. So buyers should kick in here. If they don't, then that means sellers are heavy. And this is a range bound trade. So roughly about making 12 points and risking, let's say, 10 points. I'm not interested if it comes below this. So if it's a strong, nice momentum, it needs to carry on. Cool. I'll keep trailing these stop as well. Looks like we're getting a nice big push off of that level. There you go. And I'll keep trailing my limit higher as well.
Order filled.
There you go. Quick, nice trade. And that put me kinda green on the day. How much was that? About 60 bucks, nothing significant, but that's where my plan was to get out. So not a lot of drawdown here. I could have gotten here, but historically I've seen good bounces come off the 50% of the all-night range. Price just slipped a little bit, and now we're seeing a lot of rejection here. So it was a good entry, and why did I not put my limit up higher at the top of or the high of the opening range? Because we could very well just not even go and tap it, and then there could be a lot of resistance at the 50% mark. We're already on a downtrend since past week, so I don't want to fight the trend. That's why I try to get out, and as we see, we got a quick reversal down. A couple of trades I did. First was just the opening range breakout. It just went, tapped the first trade, great exit there, came back in, back in again, and then great exit there as well. And now price is just back to where it was in the middle of the range. I did a couple of scalps. That's focusing on the accuracy part and not worrying too much about the dollar amount. Thing was to just get the ball rolling, a couple of contracts, and I get some cushion on the account before we can size up. Now I'll wait for the opening breakout. Looks pretty heavy to me. A lot of overhead resistance. This price didn't close above the 50% mark here. It does tell me the sellers could come in heavy and push the price down, so we could go test the low of the opening range. But it's a lot of decision making that needs to be done here, so I'm just waiting. I try to take away a lot of the profit figures from the top of the stream and just for myself. I don't want to get caught in how red I am, how green I am. Then you forget about the trade and your plan, and that's not a good spot to be in. So price just completely sold off. That was a great exit there. This is what I was hoping for. That's why my exit was roughly in this area and not at the top of the range, because I thought that that candle will just come and get sold off of here. Okay, now strong pushes down. That was a good sell there as well. But this is just the middle of the chop you want to avoid, because price can either swing or just swing either way. You don't want to be caught with your pants down. That's an interesting buy as well, but if the price slips below, then we're just looking at a nice big short here. Oh, patience. Yesterday I had a terrible day, or Friday. I just went a little bit higher size. I was doing really well, but one trade was just a little bit higher size. I would admit that, and that put me back. So, which is a great reminder to keep my size consistent. And maybe it was later in the day, and I kind of like lost focus with the whole setup and how market would have shifted in power hour. And because market's very different hours of the day. The opening setups are completely different on the volume than the power hour, which is the last hour of the market open before it closes. So that kind of pooched me. And there was a lot of this. I thought that if you don't see it here, then this all made sense. Okay, buy a short. So I thought I'm in the rhythm with the market, all right? And the trend line broke, so we're just going to go higher. But we just kept seeing a lot of these chop session come in before in the power hour. So that hour just got me good, and I was in a big position. I thought that that the volume is low, so I can size up. So look at all this volume, big candles up and down, like about 80 points, and but then here the volume just dried off, but then it quickly shot. Big candles came in, and I was on the wrong side, and so that got me. So that's why it's just good to size down and focus on the setups. These market conditions are just whipsaw, they call it. Up, quick down. That was a quick reversal. No trend, just chop. So what are you going to do? Be a seller here, or be a buyer here, and hope? So that's what we're seeing here. Anybody who was a buyer at this point thought that, okay, market's going to close top here. Now they are fully stuck, aren't they? Anybody who was a buyer in this region above the 50% range, they're all stuck here. Even buyers who were from Friday, they thought that, okay, we're going to see a nice relief up here. They were all stuck. So that's why we see a big kill candle. That means all those buyers who were stuck, they will be getting out of their positions here. And a lot of the sellers who sold here below this 50%, once the price hit above, it would have hit their stop losses. That's why we saw a nice squeeze, because they were all under the water. And now this is a nice confluence for the sellers to come in back again and see if we can get the price setting up lower, because this bottom of this support region would be a nice sell interest point. Nice point of sell interest. That's what I'm looking at. Okay, a lot of sellers could just come in here. Um, and price could easily slip up to the 50% of the overnight range. So a little risky spot. Hard to get entries here. Still in the opening range. Market just can't decide where it wants to go. Looks very heavy though, especially on the larger time frame. We've been seeing this consistent downtrend, and though this is a very significant, or it's been playing as a nice support level, but it could easily break, and we could see bigger support level at 23640 that we formed on 11th of August, literally about a week ago. So market moving pretty quick. Let's see how today plays out. Or this would be a key support level, and we'll just see a nice ride of trend. But for that to happen, you need to at least close above or in that region, in that support region. And this moment has been coming and tapping it, came and tap it, closed below, went above, closed below, went above, kind of came and tapped it, now closed below. So that's a good sign for the sellers. You can't hide this. That all these rallies have been sold into, and now price is just below the support line, and this could act as a key resistance level for nice big orders for the sellers. At the moment, we're just consolidating. So that entry would have been would have seen a lot of drawdown, seeing that now we're at the 50% level and we're just fighting to climb up, or maybe this could be the finality and we could see a price dwindle down. Not a bad spot to short if you have conviction that the price will just go below. But 50% here, not high probability, not low probability, just 50%. So, because it could easily come and break above the opening range. But there's a lot of resistance, overhead resistance here, which tells me that um, today could be a short day. A day for the shorts, that is. Still haven't broken that resistance, if you look at it this way. So clearly there's a support right here. If this breaks, which is the bottom of the overnight range, then we're just going to be looking at heavy sellers come in. So that would be a good trade that I'd be interested in. Again, this is not a bad spot to short right here, and we're seeing nice big moves below, but need to prove itself. Still in that range. Need volume to kick in and decide some momentum for the day. A lot of wicks on the 15 minutes. First 15 minute just closed and printed out this huge range, and we're still deciding if we want to break above or below. From experience, sellers do look in control. All these big rallies, they're just selling into it hard. Wouldn't be a bad spot to be a seller, but this is noise. This is a lot of chop. All right, that would have been a nicer entry if I wasn't gun shy and giving it time to prove itself. But let's see if we break below, and that would be a nicer trade. Looks like we're breaking below, finding some resistance there. Do I want to be an early seller?
Order filled.
Right, I'll sell it there. Starts break even. Let's see if we can keep going down. Might just stop me out, but let's see. I want to see at least the bottom of this range. Nice big push down. Beautiful. Right, now the momentum could continue. This is normally where I would add, but we need to see some good confirmation before I do that. There you go, nice push down. I want to see it come and test the bottom of the range and get a rebound off of there. That's what my order is. Finding some support there, so Momentum just shifted because of that big red candle. All right, we're trying to do it now. That's the one. We're going to come and test it there.
Order
I'm going
filled.
up, closing the trade there because might be finding some support in this region and might just bounce back and then we'll try to go for the retest. That was a nice trade. Just small size, little scalps. About maybe 20, 15 points. Nothing too shabby. Now it gives me some room on the day, so that means I can add to positions and see how we go from there. That's what I was worried about. Big pullback and kind of coming back up and getting some more sellers. This was a good exit there. There you go. That's the retest. I'm thinking it would just come back here and see if we can get a seller. Some nice big stop loss run. And I want to sell it, short it right at that point. If it gives me that entry, that would be prime. And then we'll write it down. But even that region was a nicer entry. The 5 minutes needs to close below the opening range for it to trigger short action. 5 seconds before this candle closes, looks like it's going to close below the overnight range. Below the opening range. Okay, this could be a nice short if we get a nice big pullback. Just being patient with my entries. That's the one. It just comes above and taps the bottom of the opening range. How much volume was there on that candle? 40 points, not a lot of volume. All right, that's the pullback. Okay, that was the initial entry there. Could have missed by a tick. Let's see if we can get a little run and get these stop losses. That's what we were doing in the past session, so I thought we'll just be doing it here as well. Right, that's my entry missing by a tick. Literally missed by a tick. So let's see if we can get another little push up or that's it. Looks like we're going to get another push up. See if we can get filled this time. Or even getting up here is a nice position to be in because it's closing below the overnight range. That's a little risky trade. We'll see a lot of drawdown, so I'm just holding the trigger for a bit. I'm a little salty about that entry. Just to get a good entry, I went, that's all right.
Order filled.
That's me in. Am I chasing? Not really. I thought that it could get rejected or test the bottom of this range. And it's still below, so we could see nice pushes down, and that's what I'm interested in. This could be a nice big profit target for us, or at least in this region where there was a lot of trading done yesterday, or 11th of August last week. My risk will be tied here. Again, don't want to get caught with my pants down. Just want to see a nice big flush, and we want to just hopefully add into that position if it shows a nice momentum. Let me just zoom out and adjust the charts. All right, seeing some nice pushes down. That's the one. Adding
Order
here.
filled.
Starts break even. Let's see if we can get a nice big run down. Nice momentum. So close to getting stopped out. All right, we want this buyers to panic and just sell, because that's would have hit their stop losses there. And that's not a lot of support in this region. It kind of broke all lows, and we might see new lows of day. So let's see. Get a nice big push down. Might get stop out on this position if we don't push below the bottom of the overnight range. Looks like we're getting a bounce off of that, and this could have been a little fake out. But let's see. 30 seconds before this candle closes. We want to see a push down, big rip down. Looks like it's trying now by getting little micro support,
Order filled.
and that stop us out. Glad to be stopping out because now we're seeing a big rip up there.
Order
I'm
filled.
shorting it there. It's gonna be tight risk, but I want to see that same trade push down, roughly getting out there. Stops a little wider because going in true contracts, and I'll just add more if we push down. We want to see confirmation that it closes below the overnight range, and that's a good confirmation. Right now, just momentum just holds it there, and that's not what I would like to see. Means buyers are finding some support here. We want sellers to be in control and just push the price down. No, it's not going to test the lows then. Might just stop me out, and I want to get out here anyway. We'll give it some room. That would have been a nicer entry again if I were here, quick scalp. But I didn't get out, I added to it. And that's what I was saying at the start of the session, that adding in this market, you just see, so it's like quick reversals. So, and, but glad to be getting out that full position because now I would have been in a proper drawdown, right? Getting rejected from the bottom of the range, opening range. Let's see if we can get a push down. 4 hour looked like we find some kind of support there. But
Order filled.
that's order filled. All right, looks like there was support at the bottom of the range and now we're just pushing higher. I'm gonna go one more try here and flip my narrative long, and that would be my last narrative shift for the day. Let's see if we can go see the top of the range. There was a nice big strong push up. A lot of the sellers are just completely under the water, and that was a little loser on my part. All right, see if we can get a pullback on that candle. Nice big push up. I totally missed that resistance level. I thought that this was, we broke all those resistances, but looks like we just a tick, like about a tick or literally at it. And this seems to be a nice big strong support for now. So we'll play off of that. See if we can get a pullback here. Get in somewhere around here. Especially on the top of that range. I'm looking at that wick there. Might come and just test that wick. You don't want to be chasing that. It will come down.
Order filled.
That's the order. Let's see if we can get a nice push up. And see if we break the wedge above. That would be a nice trade. I'll keep adding to it if we break out of this region. But it needs to prove itself. I don't want to get chopped up or just price being range bound all day and no. Strategy doesn't like it. We want a nice big pushes up and breakouts. Looked like a good entry. Finding support there. A lot of the sellers are all under the water, so they're going to be covering here. Some resistance here. I need to clear this range. A lot of resistance here. 5 minute looks primed for like a nice big leg up. At least 3 red candles. Need to print at least 3 red candles. Green bull candles to get it up to this point. Once I add, I'll tighten my stop. Righto. Looks like we're going to be range bound. This doesn't push up. I'll give it some time, couple of minutes, 2 minutes and a half before this candle closes. I want to see a nice squeeze of the shorts. Everyone was short here, just like myself. And if it didn't flip the narrative, they would be under the water. Right, that's pretty good. Seeing some pushes up. But that wick is not really promising, which tells me there is resistance there. We might just take a long while to decide if it wants to push up or down. This needs to break up cleanly. That was a big wick there, and we saw a big red candle, so you don't want to be stuck with a wick and then like push down. Short term, it tells me we broke this micro trend, and we were right there finding support, and we might just push up. That would have been a line in the sand for a lot of the sellers. Market's rewarding the 10-point traders rather than like a nice big pushes up, 30 points or so. All right. Down support off of that low of the overnight range or low of the opening range. My stop's very close to it. So we want to see nice support. We don't want to see it pooch down. If it does, I'm not interested in that drawdown. So we'll let this position prove itself before we can add more. Looks like that would be a stop out.
Order filled.
Yep, not finding any support here. Stops me out and then runs up. Classic. Looks so heavy here. Might just close below as well.
Order
I'm going
filled.
short there. Very quick trade to get in. Gotta give it more time to prove itself, but looks like we're gonna break the range and just pooch below. Seems like it. Could be wrong. That's why we have stop losses. Yep. So that would be my stop on this momentum or this candle to close below the opening range. So I tried to flip the narrative, go long, but all the longs got trapped as well. We might just be trapping everyone, but looks pretty heavy. So I went short right at that range again. We might see a nice push down, or we could just see a lot of big chop fest today as well. Either way, we'll know. I'm not interested in a chop fest, so we'll close the day and know that it's the choppy Monday. A lot of people are just getting trapped left, right, center. This candle needs to close below the opening range. Looks heavy. Let's see. We did trade it a lot in this region, so something tells me we'll come and revisit this these lows and see if we find support there. All right, about a minute and a half before this candle closes. 15-minute looks like it's going to print a big wick and push down. Looks like it, especially on the 4 hours, more evidence that we just grab a lot of the liquidity and now we're on our way down. So need to confirm it on the 5-minute. Used to close below. All right, 60 seconds before this candle closes. If this doesn't hold, we'll nail that short. That's what I'm saying. 8 seconds. All right, that closed above the opening range, which tells me it's going to be a chop fest if this candle doesn't just come and break. It did close in the opening range, inside the opening range. So if this is a true fake out, we need a nice big kill candle here to just shake everyone out, like so. Otherwise, this wasn't a fake out and we're just going to be chopping all day. Let's see if this candle carries some volume and we break below. Looks like it wants to do it. Right, that's the break, that's the volume. Finding some support there, need a clean break and kind of test the new lows and print new lows of days. On a new low of the day. A lot of orders downstairs and a lot of orders upstairs. That's why market's just pivoting in between. Right, seeing like we're finding some support here, not a clean break below. I was hoping for a nice sell-off. All that volume couldn't push it down.
Order filled.
And that stopped me out. Not doing very well on the day. Just a choppy day. Maybe that was a stop loss run before the real move. Because we're right at VWAP. Thinking of another short at it. Maybe that's a nicer entry. That'll be my final trade for the day, so I'm just saving it for a nice entry.
Order filled.
Shorting it there. Maybe this was a stop loss run, stopped us out, but we'll find out soon enough. If it jumps up, then not a big fan of it. Still below the key support level, the resistance level, so tells me this is pretty heavy. Still below the 50% of the overnight range, so this could just sell off. This could be a choppy noise. That's what the re-entry is for. Again, tight risk. 12 points. Don't want to be stuck. The rally's higher. That's a better entry there. Let's see if we break this and close below this new 5-minute candle. Still flirting with the bottom of the range. Price hasn't tried to come up and test the top of the range. That's what's just giving me more conviction and being a seller. Let's find out. Now my stop would be somewhere around here. Still want to give it some room though. Easily just wick me out. But this candle needs to do it with volume. Break below. If we don't, buyers might come in heavy. Like so. Needs to break with volume. Hindsight's always 20/20. It's just taking decisions real time and predicting or just seeing what the market's going to do in the next couple of 3-4 candles and where it's going to end up. To me, it looks pretty heavy, and we could end up in the 23720 region, but I could be wrong. It is Monday. We have been just chopping and just try to leave the range once, but we literally came back, got sucked back into the range, and now we're just deciding. Maybe this is an early trade. See how we react. If we break the range below and keep going lower, continue going lower.
Order filled.
That stopped me out. All right, that's me done for the day. And thank you everyone for watching. It's almost like an hour for this trading session. Very choppy. Have to be careful. And just waiting for a trend day. See if we can add to it and get some profits out of it. But today was just a lot of stop loss runs and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trades almost wrong in a row. Eroded some of the morning trades, but literally break even day, which kind of tells me exactly what the market's doing. It's just stuck in that little range. If we zoom out, it hasn't done much. It's just in that range. So Losses were very smallish, around 40 bucks. One loss was 80 bucks, some 75 buck loser, but the profits were almost 1 to 1. Nothing 1 is to 2, so it couldn't cover the losses as much. Accuracy was roughly 50% for the day. That's the trading session for the day. I'll wait for it to decide what it wants to do, and might take one more trade, but I'm saving it because this could be very well a big chop fest and don't want to get stuck into it. Anyways, thanks everyone for watching. Hope we find more luck tomorrow, Tuesday. And bye.
Order filled.